I'm Michael Douglas. Welcome back to another edition of Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Phil Collins because I'm really jazzed up for the release of his 40th anniversary of his Supreme LP from 1985 in a super deluxe format, no jacket required. And it got me to thinking about how his well-known physical infirmity has really played out, and the moment he really knew that he really couldn't play anymore. The drums. You know, for all of his talents, Phil Collins is often seen as a drummer first and foremost. And he started his career behind a kit, and his reputation as a player followed him to modernity, even though he had given up his life as a drummer. And while many factors contributed to that decision, one show with fellow rocker Eric Clapton was basically the catalyst that led him to finally put his sticks away. You know, when an artist is as talented as Phil Collins was at the drums, he or she likely couldn't imagine that losing that talent at all. It's their bread and butter. That's unfortunately what happened to the ex-Genesis drummer. And after all the years of playing the drums, Collins suffered significant injuries to his spinal cord, rendering him unable to play his chosen instrument from that point on. And there was one show at the Royal Albert Hall that put things into perspective for Phil Collins. He realized that his life as a drummer was basically coming to an end. I played with Clapton at Albert Hall for one song, and I had that feeling of, this isn't happening. That kind of scared me. The one thing I could rely on in life was that I could sit down at the drums and it would sound good, and suddenly I couldn't pull it together. Phil Collins did tease picking up his drumsticks at one point, saying, "If I wake up one day and I can hold a pair of drumsticks, then I'll have a crack at it, but I just feel like I've used up my air miles." Unfortunately, Phil Collins ultimately retired from touring altogether, and his chronic health issues made it impossible for him to continue. However, in the place of a lively touring life, Phil Collins has left us a rich catalog in his wake. It may not commiserate the fact that fans can no longer see Phil Collins play the drums live, but he put enough energy into many songs in his back catalog that anyone, even the most casual fan, can get a taste of what seeing him in his heyday really was like. And that's extremely important. Fans can take solace in knowing that retiring from touring offered a much-needed reprieve for Phil Collins. And I think he sensed that, and I think he thought at that time, yes, it's okay for me to basically step back, step down. And he did it with such grace. I felt as though I owed myself the opportunity to do nothing. Touring has changed a lot since I was out there with Genesis, you know. You went out on the road and it was like going to war. When you came back, your kids were driving and someone else had moved in. You know, his characteristic wit, again, handled with grace, that allowed him to basically step back, doing what basically defined him and his persona for the vast majority of his life as an artist. And I think fans and even non-fans and just observers really realize that, and I think endear themselves to him much more. And the upcoming No Jacket Required Super Deluxe Edition is an example of that. I can't wait till that comes out, and I'll probably do a review of it as well for the channel. So a lot to be really thankful for Phil Collins's rich catalog and the character of the man who said, you know, enough is enough. I've made my mark, my life, I'm very satisfied, and now it's out there for everyone, fans new and old, and fans yet to be fans, to take it all in. I'm Michael Douglas, and if you like what you see here on the channel, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next episode.